Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by today. This video is specifically for those of you who are thinking about going into the teaching profession. Maybe you are about to start your student teaching, or maybe you're student teaching right now. But today I'm going to share with you what my student teaching experience was like. So this video is actually part of a collaboration series with one of my favorite teacher friends on YouTube. Her name is Miss May, or you might know her as One Fab Teacher. So be sure to go and click the link down in the description box below and check out her YouTube channel and check out her video on her student teaching experience. By hearing what both of our experiences kind of were like, you can kind of get an idea of what student teaching might be like for you. Now, of course, student teaching is going to be different everywhere, from grade level to grade level and from school to school. It will also depend on what kind of program you're in and what the requirements are for you to obtain your degree. Now, later this week, both of us will be doing a video on tips for student teachers, and in both of our videos, we will be doing a giveaway. So be sure to check those out. Stay tuned for that. So One Fab Teacher and I just wanted to share our experiences with you, and I hope you enjoy. So just to give you a little background, I went to Florida State University, as you may know, and I was in the early childhood education program there. There were about 30 to 32 people in my cohort, and all of us needed to do some student teaching at some point. Before we were allowed to do student teaching, we had to do some different practicums and observations first. So I actually had the opportunity to go into a lot of different classrooms during the time that I went to FSU. So these practicums and observations pretty much lasted the first semester of my early childhood education program. Now, during that time, we were all working on getting our badges so that we could go into the schools full-time, and we also found out who our mentor teachers were going to be. So it was really awesome because Florida State actually hosted a big mentor student teacher dinner at the university club. So like up in the football stadium in this really big fancy conference room, we had a really nice dinner in which all of us student teachers were able to meet all of our mentor teachers ahead of time. This was just really nice for all of us to kind of get to know our mentor teachers on a personal level before it was kind of that first awkward introduction in the classroom. I don't know, I think, a lot of us were really nervous, and this was really able to kind of break the ice for us. We actually all filled out a survey before this so that our professors could really kind of match us up with a mentor that they thought would be a good fit for us. So that night at dinner, I met my amazing mentor teacher. She is beautiful, both inside and out. All of my classroom management skills, I seriously learned from her. She was like the queen of classroom management. She was very stern and firm and had high expectations for the kids. And then she also had that very sweet, loving, caring, kind of grandmotherly side to her. And she was so warm and cozy. I just loved her. Like, she was the best mentor ever. I felt like I was her daughter, and she just welcomed me with open arms, kind of took me under her wing and showed me the ropes. She is retired now, and I know she is probably loving life. So Mrs. Morris, if you are watching this, I love you and miss you, and I hope all is well. So like I said, this student teacher mentor dinner was actually hosted in the first semester of our program. Then we all went on our winter break, and then as soon as we came back, it was time to get busy, and we were getting ready to jump into the classroom with our mentors. I did my student teaching at a Title I school in a kindergarten classroom, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. It was definitely challenging at first, and you go in there and you don't have a clue on what to do. Your college courses can only prepare you for so much. It is way different when you step into the actual classroom, and it is even more different when you are in your own classroom for your very first year of teaching. So I consider my student teaching to be about a year and a half in school years, I guess. But really, it was only 6 weeks. So let me explain a little bit what I mean by that. So my particular program was set up so that we had to complete 1 week of full-time teaching in the spring, 2 weeks of full-time teaching the following fall, and then 6 weeks of full-time teaching, which was technically our student teaching the following spring. So really, that's why I say that I was with my mentor teacher. I was student teaching for a year and a half because I really was in that same classroom for a year and a half. in school years, of course. It was actually a really great experience because not only were we matched with a mentor teacher, we were also matched with a senior student teacher. So as my senior was completing her 6 weeks of student teaching, I was getting ready to complete my 1 week of student teaching within the same semester. I had to go a few times a week and I was able to kind of observe her and observe my mentor teacher before I actually completed that 1 week of full-time teaching. I got so many tips and tricks from her about classroom management and, things that she failed at that she got better at and things that she had learned from. She was always very open and willing to share some ideas with me, and she just rocked. The funny thing was we actually went to high school together and we had ended up in Tallahassee, and that's not where we went to high school at. So that's really kind of fun that we ended up kind of being matched with one another. So for these full-time teach weeks, we were assigned a unit, and we actually had to research different things about our unit and come up with our own lesson plans, arts and crafts, snack ideas, all kinds of things. And we had to put it into a ginormous binder, and we had to turn it into our professors and then use it in the classroom to teach. Now, I would show you what those look like, but my professor at the College of Education actually asked me if he could keep my units, both my 1 week and 2 week units, to use as examples for the following years because I don't know, I guess I just put some hard work into it. So they turned out really, really good. And I was really proud of them. And I said, of course, you can have them. I would love to share my ideas with the other student teachers that are coming through the program and just kind of help out where I can. So he has those. So I don't have them to show you. But basically, like I said, it was just a huge binder. Like, for example, my 1 week unit was all about manatees, which was really, really fun, especially in Florida. We actually adopted a manatee as a class, and the kids brought in some donations. In the fall, I was able to actually go in during pre-planning week and spend that week with my mentor teacher, kind of learning how to set up for open house, set up for meet the teacher night, all of those things, kind of learn those back to school or beginning of the school year kinds of routines that usually student teachers don't get to see. So I was really blessed to be able to see that before I actually was in my own classroom on my own. If you have the opportunity to do this with your mentor teacher, please take advantage of it. I promise, you might not want to get up in the morning and go to school on days that you don't have to, but I promise it is worth it. Go see what the beginning of the school year looks like before you have your own classroom, because you may think that the kids are just going to come in and get right to work. Oh, no. They have to learn those rules and routines and procedures from the beginning, and it takes time, especially if you're in the primary grades. So my second semester, after all of that back to school stuff was done, I really just kind of observed my mentor teacher for a while. And then I actually did a 2 week unit on bats. So it was a lot of fun. We learned all kinds of cool facts about bats, the different kinds of bats, microbats, macrobats, all kinds of bats all over the world. And we also talked about the kind of bats that live, in the United States, what the kids might be more familiar with. When my 6 week unit came around the following spring, so this was my last semester in this classroom, I did an amazing unit all about China. And this was so neat. We talked all about the history of China, the culture, the landmarks. One thing that we were required to do as a team of student teachers in kindergarten is we were required to write a play. So we actually had to put on a play all about China. We had to write the script, we had to choose the music, we had to create the costumes. It was intense. I never in a million years thought I could write a script for a play, let alone for like 60 kindergartners. Yes, it was a ton of work, but it was so much fun. The kiddos performed and they were so adorable, and all of the parents and families came to watch, and it was just a blast. There were all kinds of things that I had to work on during my student teaching, and the biggest thing for me was classroom management. Because my sweet, sweet mentor, I love her for this, for telling me this and being open and honest with me. She told me that I was too nice. And yeah, you can still be the nice teacher, but you have to make sure that your kids are following your rules and expectations, or else learning will not take place. So that's something that I had to work on for sure. I also had to work on my time management. When I planned my lessons for my units, I thought, I can do this and this and this and this, and everything is going to fit into my day. Oh no, not with kindergartners. So I definitely had to practice time management, and I had to learn to be flexible when it comes to lessons. Some days you may get to everything and then you're like, oh my goodness, what do I do with all of this extra time and 20 kindergartners staring at me? Or you might have days where you just don't have time to get anything in. I mean, depending on behaviors and how the kids are feeling that day, if they're paying attention, if they're grasping a certain concept, your time really has to be flexible. And that is one tip that I actually should add in my next video, is that you need to be flexible as a student teacher. That is something that I really had to work on because I thought it was, very clear cut. This is what we're doing. And it does not work out that way all the time. If it does, you're having like a superhuman teacher day. During my student teaching, I really saw that I made a tremendous amount of growth. I am always looking for ways to improve and just kind of get better at something. And I did that during my student teaching. So yes, I did not know what I was doing on day one, but I took initiative and I really tried to put my best foot forward, make sure I get to school early so that I can kind of get ready for the day and not only impress my mentor teacher, but just kind of learn to be a better teacher and kind of dive into a lot of those skills that I didn't really have yet. I worked really hard to kind of master those. And, it took some time. And even my first year teaching, I was not even skilled at that stuff yet. For example, time management. I still had not figured out appropriate time management, even my first year of teaching. So it does take time. There are days where I struggle with it now. I mean, this is only my 4th year of teaching. And yes, I have shown a lot of growth even since student teaching, but there's always ways to improve. So that is kind of like my daily goal. Like, what can I get better at today? What can I teach better? What skill can I get better at in the classroom? Or maybe it's, learning to balance work and personal life. And that is something that is very hard to do during student teaching as well. I kind of struggled with that a little bit during student teaching because, you're in college, you want to have fun with your friends, you want to go out to dinner or whatever. And it's kind of really hard to balance that when you have school the next day and all of your college friends are going out. So it is a struggle and it does take getting used to, but I promise you can do it. One thing that I found to be very helpful for me was that I was taking my mentor's constructive criticism and really kind of reflecting on what I could change or what she was kind of trying to tell me. So a lot of mentor teachers don't want to kind of tell you straight up, like, this is what you need to work on. So for me, I told my mentor, I'm like, please just tell me what I need to work on because I want to be the best I can be and I need your help. It's okay to ask for help. And I did all the time. It might be scary at first. I get that. I do. I asked for help. I took initiative. I was nervous, but I did things anyway to kind of get myself out of my comfort zone so that I could get better and improve and just be the best that I could be in the classroom. So I hope you enjoyed just listening to a little bit about my student teaching experience. I know that yours is going to go fabulously. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please do not hesitate to drop a comment down below and let me know what you would like to know more about student teaching. Also, like I said earlier, stay tuned for my tips for student teachers video coming on Saturday. That is a collaboration with one Fab Teacher. She will be posting one as well, and we will be doing a giveaway. So make sure that you are ready and you're back here on Saturday so that you don't miss any of those tips for student teaching. All right, guys, I will see you guys next time. Bye.